All right, hello. Welcome to the Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. I'm your host, Will Reichling.
And I'm your co-host, Dylan Boyle.
Well, welcome back, Dylan. Welcome back. Haven't seen you in a little bit. I hope all is well. Let's just dive right into it like we always do. Week 15 in the books. Cowboys at Bills, and the Bills embarrass the Cowboys. The Bills tend to do this. When they get a lead on teams, they blow them out, and they did the Cowboys dirty.
I'm a little disappointed with the Cowboys. I feel like this is a team that if everything's not going right for them, if it's not the perfect temperature, the right atmosphere, they're at home, everyone's healthy, it's not going to go their way, and it showed here tonight. And it's concerning. The proof's in the pudding. Like you've seen how they played against being home and away, and especially as you're going to be playing a playoff game that's most likely going to be in a cold weather, bad atmosphere. I'm kind of worried what they're going to look like against a team like that when it's not their way.
Well, the home and road splits, you're absolutely right. It's kind of crazy. They're a completely different team on home versus on the road. They're undefeated at home, and on the road, they're under 500. So I think this really hurt Dak's MVP odds, too, because I think he was the favorite coming into this week, or if he wasn't, he was top 2. Now he's fallen to 3rd. He fell behind Lamar, too, as well as Purdy. So I don't take too much from this. I keep saying this. I said this earlier in the week on my instant reaction. It doesn't really matter at this point what happens for Dallas in the regular season. If they beat Miami here, if they don't beat Miami, it's really going to matter what they do in the playoffs. They lost to the Niners 2 seasons in a row in the playoffs, and they got their butts kicked by them earlier in the season. So inevitably, when they face the Niners again in the playoffs, what is going to happen? And they're probably going to fold.
I honestly think the same thing. And you say it doesn't matter, but at the same time, it kind of does matter because you're going to be playing a team like this in the playoffs.
Probably.
So you kind of have to, it's not like it's the last week, they're just not going to play everyone. It's not like that. You got to come out swinging in all these games.
And let's be honest, the Bills now, if they make the playoffs, somehow find a way to get in, they could be pretty dangerous with all everything falling apart around the AFC. I keep going back and forth on this. Earlier in the season, I thought Miami would beat Buffalo, then Buffalo kicked Miami's butts, but then Buffalo had a lot of injuries and been struggling. Who would win right now, Miami or Buffalo?
I think Buffalo would win, honestly.
Honestly, I'm starting to lean that way too now.
They got their run game going.
James Cook is a huge factor in this offense now.
Absolutely.
He showed the last 2-3 weeks he's been on a complete tear, and that's really what is benefiting this offense. They don't have to rely on Stephon Diggs too much anymore, and Josh Allen only has to throw 15 times, and that's it.
Funny stat.
Never would thought that with this team, that Josh Allen would throw only 15 times and they would win.
It's pretty crazy. James Cook had more total yards than the whole entire Cowboys offense.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's how bad they played.
Yeah, the Bills had over 200 rushing yards. Dallas didn't even have 200 total offensive yards. No. And a lot of that was they had 190-something, I think, and a lot of that was in garbage time.
And listen, I get it. It was raining, but the Bills were making it work.
Oh, so, it was raining.
Yeah, it was raining.
Who was home? Buffalo?
Yeah, Buffalo was home.
Yeah, it was raining. I mean, Buffalo's used to it, though.
Yeah, I know.
But, I mean, I'm not going to take too much from this.
I heard, they're 11-3 again, or I'm sorry, 3-11 against away teams with the temperature being under 40 degrees.
Dallas? Really?
Yeah.
Kind of like Detroit a little bit there. A little weird. That's weird. Well, Dak's MVP odds probably slipped after this, and
Definitely.
I don't know if he's completely out of it because there's 3 weeks left, but he might be. It's not looking good now. I think Purdy's probably going to get it now. Purdy's probably the favorite in it. Purdy is the favorite now. I think the odds are minus 210 or something like that. So I just need to see what Dallas does in the playoffs. In Buffalo, this might help them bolster into the playoffs. They still can win this division. They play Miami in, I think, 2 weeks, and that could be for the division. So Buffalo is still very much alive.
Yeah, it's still not up in the air.
Down the wire. Eagles, Seahawks we'll get into next. And what a comeback at the end. Drew Lock, final drive. Calm, cool, collected. Boom, hit Metcalf on a beautiful throw up the sideline. And then hit Jackson Smith and Jigba on a beautiful touchdown. What a catch. Extending his far.
He's turning out to be a very good receiver for this team.
And I said that early, I think in the offseason, I said watch out for him. But it took a while for him to come on this season.
Most receivers do.
But Lockett and Metcalf are both getting older, especially Lockett. So I thought So I thought Jackson Smith and Jigba was really going to start stepping up as the season came on. That's what's happening. And Seattle's got a stacked roster. Let's think about it. It really comes down to the quarterbacks. And when their quarterbacks play okay, they can win games.
Yeah, I know. I do like it. Drew Lock looked amazing this game, but both of these quarterbacks they're not really your franchise quarterback.
No, I absolutely agree. You're kind of just treading water here with these quarterbacks.
And at this point, who do you really think's better, Geno Smith or Drew Lock?
See, that's a very good point. I brought this up, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. I think Geno Smith is better than Drew Lock But is the gap really that far off? They're both second-round picks that turn out to be busts. I know Geno's kind of came on now the last 2 years, but he's a bust. Was a bust on the Jets. Drew Lock was a bust with the Broncos. Both second-round picks. They both have like a pretty good arm. Can move up pretty decent. They're very similar players.
I feel like Drew Lock has a better arm, and Geno's just more mobile.
I can agree with that, but it's like not far off. Like Geno's arm is pretty strong too, and Drew Lock is can move also. So.
I honestly feel like you know what they do with on the Saints with Taysom Hill. They should kind of do that. Kind of use both of them a little bit.
That's an interesting take right there. I don't know if like in an offense in 2023, if like they would use like the old saying when you got two quarterbacks,
you don't have a quarterback,
and we know that. We both
they kind of don't have a quarterback.
It's not the answer right now.
No.
Well, it might be the answer for this season, but long term, they're probably looking like. Do you think they're going to draft one in this upcoming draft?
They're not going to have the draft capital. They're going to be way too far back. They're going to get like 20. They're going to be in like the 20th plus.
That is true. I'm not sure. I think they don't get any of. I think they're not getting the Broncos picks anymore. I don't think they have a The Broncos aren't even in the top 10 anymore either. What am I saying? Because last year they were terrible and the Seahawks got their pick. Yeah. I'm not sure if I think Denver has their pick now.
They probably got like a second or third.
Yeah, so really, but that's another question. Like, are they? What do you think they make the playoffs? The Rams did beat them twice, and they
can make the playoffs.
Will they?
Well, like you said, do they make any noise in the playoffs? And I don't know if they will.
They won't, but will they make it? Because right now I think they're on the outskirts still, or they're the 7th seed maybe.
I could see them making it.
Ravens, Jaguars, and the only take I could take from this is that Lamar Jackson's a difference maker. It doesn't always come up in the stat sheet, but he manipulates every game he plays in. Like, he completely controlled this game. He controlled the offense, like, pretty efficiently, and, like, they beat the Jaguars pretty soundly, and the Jaguars are just not impressing me.
No, they're not. I feel like the Ravens defense kind of was controlling this game. They were putting a lot of pressure onto Trevor Lawrence, and that kind of really got to him. There was a few good plays from Trevor Lawrence where he was airing it out. I remember this really nice one on he was aired it out on the left side. It was a dot. It was like a 40-yarder. I don't know who it was to, but
was that Zay Jones? I think I remember that.
Maybe
was it Zay Jones? I could be wrong, but I remember that throw.
And then I saw a good one from Calvin Ridley.
Look, he makes plays like that, but he's still underwhelming overall. Like
very much so.
But he does make a lot of good throws here and there. But it's just like he's not winning enough big games against big teams, and it's like his stats are underwhelming, and I don't know what to make of it right now.
It's been like this all season. Like he's been winning games, but not convincingly. So.
And it's not looking impressive.
This AFC South is very wide open. And honestly, out of the three teams, the Colts, the Texans, I trust the Jaguars the least, surprisingly enough. It's crazy.
It's not a crazy take.
They're the one that has like the most developed quarterback, and they're just...
And they probably have the most talented offense.
Yes, very much so.
And yet you trust them the least because it's just like they're so underwhelming. I wouldn't say I trust them the least. I probably trust the Colts the least because talent-wise, a quarterback.
I don't know.
But the Texans,
the
only reason I'll put the Jaguars winning this division still is because the Texans have a lot of injuries. Tank Dell out for the year. Stroud was missing with a concussion. Although Case Keenum got him the win, he will be fine. Yeah, but it just seems like they lost to the Jets. They've been struggling. But I'll take them over the Colts too. Like I just can't see the Colts getting in with They could. They're 7th seed right now. I could definitely be wrong.
They're getting JT back, too.
Right now, it's a 3-way tie, the AFC South.
It is. All 86.
And you know what's funny? I thought that was going to be one of the worst divisions in the NFL.
I know.
And there's 3 teams over 500 now.
I know, and the Titans aren't bad either, but I'm pretty sure they were eliminated.
They're competitive, though, for sure. They're like 5-8. Yeah, they're 5-9. They are eliminated.
I feel like they're the most, stable division, definitely.
Yeah.
Where you don't have, a too good of a team or
too bad of a team. Yeah, exactly. And the Ravens, this is their year. They have to win. They have to make the AFC championship game because they're the best team in the AFC by far.
And Ravens, Isaiah Likely, he's been really coming on. He fit Mark Andrews' role pretty nicely.
If anything, he's a little quicker than Mark Andrews, so it adds another element to the offense.
Mark Andrews is getting older too.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a good draft pick by them.
It was.
So
and what's his name got hurt too?
Keaton Mitchell. Another running back injured. J.K. Dobbins.
Not a problem, though.
Oh, yeah, because they'll just rinse and repeat.
Gus Edwards gets it done.
And they have Justice Hill still, too. Is he hurt, too? No, because he gets hurt a lot, too.
It's crazy how many running backs they have.
I know.
It goes deep.
Le'Veon Bell, I think, was there last year, 2 years ago. They had Devontae Freeman for a while.
They're just good at the running back position.
Yeah.
And they're stacked in the wide receiver position.
It's their scheme.
A stacked roster.
It's their scheme with Lamar because you don't know if Lamar's going to run or if the running back's going to run.
Really make it work with
exactly.
anyone.
So we'll move on. Broncos, Lions, and the Lions Lions completely embarrassed the Broncos. The Lions needed this, though, because they had a couple of rough losses, Packers, and who was the other team they lost to? Tough. The Bears. But for the Broncos, man, Sean Payton screaming at Russ.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's
What do you make of that?
Well, listen, you could obviously tell, he just made a dumb decision, and I don't know. Do you want that type of coach to just like be screaming at you? Like that's kind of the last thing you want. You're a professional NFL player that's getting paid millions. I don't need to be hearing this guy's ear.
Do you think this relationship's working, Payton and Russ?
It doesn't really seem like it.
It did for a little bit there, but now it seems like it's starting to get a little rough again. What are they 7-7 right now? It's not over. They can still make the playoffs.
They're just not a good losing team.
Yeah, I don't know if the fit's necessary. I think the fit's working. Like I think Sean Payton has gotten the best out of Russell Wilson, but I don't know if Sean Payton likes Russell Wilson. To be honest with you, it doesn't seem like he does.
Doesn't really seem like that either.
Yeah,
I don't really know what to make of this team either. I mean, they probably deserve one more year before we.
I would say that too. I would keep Russ. Yeah. He's definitely bounced back this year. He's over 20 touchdown passes. About 100 passer rating, maybe like 99.
Making and Sutton look really good.
Yeah, Sutton's a piece you want to keep. Judy's starting to play a little better. Mm-hmm. But the Lions, both their rookies, Gibbs and Laporta, 2 touchdowns each, 4 touchdowns total between them. I mean, absolutely. They're really, really coming on those rookies. And the running game.
Have they played the 49ers yet? Because that'd be an interesting game I'd like to see. That could easily be the NFC Championship.
No, but you know who they are playing in a few weeks? The Cowboys. And we have been talking about that for a while. Who will win that game, Lions or Cowboys? We've been talking about that for a while because that's probably...
It just bounced back every week. Last week I
was
saying...
Cowboys.
Last week I was saying Cowboys. This week I'm kind of saying Lions.
I'll still go Cowboys in that one. But we'll talk about that when it comes up.
Because it's very interesting, too. Because, the Cowboys play very well to bad teams or even like mediocre teams, and then the Lions do the same thing. They play really good against bad teams. So I don't know. Whoever really gets ahead of this game is probably going to win it.
I can't wait for that one. But
I
will go Dallas, even though could be wrong about that.
Lions.
But anything, I mean, other than that, I mean, I can't believe the Broncos got that embarrassed. But I mean, on that play that Sean Payton got mad at Russ, he ran to the line of scrimmage and they snapped the ball too quick. Payton wanted to give time to make the play reviewable to the refs, and I think that's why he was mad at Russ.
Oh, okay.
And Russ kind of took it on the chin. That's kind of who Russ is. He's not going to get mad.
But don't they have earpieces? Can't they, communicate that?
I think there's a certain time. There's a certain amount of time off the play clock, and when you come to the line of scrimmage, like where it turns off. Like it's not. It's not always on. Like when they're at the line of scrimmage, it's not on. Like unless you get up early enough in the play clock. But yeah, so I don't know. But it could have been on at that point. He might have been screaming and saying, "What are you doing, you idiot!"
Get this guy out of my ear.
Yeah. I don't know. Russ is kind of a good guy. He took it on the chin when he got screamed at. So
I mean, what are you gonna do? You're not going back at your head coach.
At Sean Payton, let alone But other than that,
nothing really much to get into.
It was a blowout.
Lions dominated.
Yeah, blowout, complete blowout. Vikings, Bengals, and Jake Browning. The Jake Browning story. I've been calling him a poor man's Joe Burrow because he's having very similar stats to Joe Burrow, and he's playing very similar, distributing the ball to all those good players, and they're winning.
Yeah, he's playing phenomenal, and all these all these backup quarterbacks, they're coming out, they're playing a good game, and then a few games later, they're completely plateauing.
Yeah,
and that's mainly because they don't have footage on them. But I feel like Jake Browning is just completely different. Like he's just looking like he's been doing this for a while now. He's looked like he's developed with this line and this roster, and he's controlling it.
Right now, he really is. You're absolutely right. I mean, you hit it right on the head. Usually teams get some film on you. Maybe that hasn't happened here yet because it's only been a few games, but they have so much talent there. You talked about this in the offseason. I might have to pull that clip back up in one of these episodes, but you said they have so much. The Bengals are stacked, and they really are because Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mixon's really starting to come on.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is have a quarterback play slightly above average, and you're going to win some games. This is what's happening here. He's playing slightly above average. He's playing really good.
Yes, he is. And that catch from T. Higgins, oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
What do you reach back?
That's
like so much football awareness.
That one Browning just threw up. I won't. That's more on T. Higgins than Browning. Like, he literally came back to the ball. And then he reached it over. Wow, T. Higgins could be a beast sometimes.
Man.
And he could definitely be on number one on a different team.
Exactly.
Giants.
Yeah. Whatever, man.
He's going to be a free agent.
I'm not worried about the Giants.
So,
yeah, speaking of free agents, I've talked about this before. Now is the Bengals' year to do something, so why not just make it work? Try to get it done, whatever you can. So,
well, they're in there right now. So
yeah, they are.
Might as well just keep going.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
The Vikings, I mean, never understood because they traded for Josh Dobbs. He had 2 comeback wins. And then after a game and a half of bad performances, you bench him. I know that Nick Mullins has been there, probably knows the playbook. Maybe they see something in practice that we don't. But I see Mullins out there, and he makes some plays down the field sometimes, yes, but so many stupid turnovers, too. He had 2 picks, 1 in the red zone, and he almost had a third pick that was going to be a pick 6 on a screen, and it was called back on a penalty. Got lucky there.
A lot of rookie mistakes. Like, he had one where he was, getting sacked and threw the ball into the guy that was sacking him.
Well, the problem is
it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Biggest problem is he's not a rookie. He's like a 5-year veteran, 6-year veteran. So.
Oh, that's right. He was on the 49ers.
Yeah, remember that? And
yes,
he would do the same thing. Make some plays down the field and make a lot of stupid interceptions.
So you kind of know what you got with Nick Mullins.
He's a good backup.
He made some good throws, but at the same time, he made a lot of rookie mistakes.
Who would you go with, Josh Dobbs or Mullins? I'd take Dobbs.
From what I saw, Dobbs.
Dobbs can make more plays with his feet.
Like you said, they probably saw something we didn't.
In practice, yeah. I don't understand why, because you traded for him. I heard there was some incentive involved where, if he plays a certain amount of downs, you get the pick back, or they get, money situation.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe that's what they're doing, but then why trade for him in the first place? I guess Kevin O'Connell doesn't like him? I don't know. Well, listen, how do you not like the guy?
In this game, they scored 24 points. The last game against the Raiders, they scored 3 points.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is...
Mullins does push the ball down the field. I'll give him that. But Dobbs got there 2 weeks, off the street. Give him some time to learn the playbook. Maybe they'll go back to him eventually. I don't think his story's over just yet. But let's move on.
No, he's definitely, even if he's not on this team, he's definitely going to do well somewhere else.
He's going to end up somewhere. Someone's going to give him a starting opportunity eventually. Bears, Browns, Joe Flacco coming from behind. Again, the Browns, what are they, 9-5? They have the 5 seed. They're probably a lock for the playoffs at this point. Can the Browns make noise? I mean, what is this Browns team? I'm so confused because they struggled the whole game. Flacco threw 3 picks, and then boom, the final 2-3 drives, beautiful performances. I mean, Njoku's really come on. Amari Cooper, that catch on the sideline, that touchdown. Yeah. This Browns team, something magical is happening with this defense.
I've said this before. The Browns, the offense really doesn't have to do much. The defense will keep you in games.
Yeah,
and that's what they did here. You know what? On the other hand, the Bears, they've really played a phenomenal game. It's so weird because every time you think a team's trash, they got nothing going for them.
It's the NFL, yeah.
Yeah, so I was really, on the other hand, I was really impressed by Fields and what he's did in this game. He was looking really good out there.
Yeah.
And they really took it right down to the end on this game. Literally to the last drive.
See, I just don't know what to make. Oh, yeah, the Hail Mary that Mooney dropped.
That Mooney dropped, yes.
That was crazy. That's tough, man. That really is tough. But really what it comes down to, it really shouldn't have come down to that.
It shouldn't have.
Justin Fields continues to have these games where he looks really good and has a lot of good moments, but loses. He's not a winning quarterback right now. Yeah. That's what I'm worried about.
And then it rises the question, what do you do with that draft pick?
I know. Because
honestly, you got to go for him. You got to get.
I know, but at the same time, devil's advocate, you trade that, you get so many picks and players that they build around Justin Fields. You can go either way.
You go down one road, you go down the other. You're gonna see how it plays out in a couple years.
It's franchise altering though, which way you go. It's you're at a fork road right now because the Panthers are gonna finish with the number 1 or the number 2 pick. I mean, there's gonna be between them or New England. So,
and then they just got Montez Sweat too. So
who's really been playing out of his mind right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to do something soon.
Yeah, exactly. You want to make a decision.
You got a good team.
You want to make the decision soon. You don't want to be dragging this to where you're unsure up to the last second. But you also don't want people to know what you know.
I mean, then again, you get Caleb. You got some pieces around him already. Cole Kmet, DJ Moore.
Yeah, there's a way you bring in Caleb Williams and you can still add a ton of players. You could trade back on your other pick that you're gonna have.
Yeah, exactly. Trade Fields, get some capital from.
I think you can get a first round pick. You could probably get a first round pick from Atlanta. Imagine Justin Fields in Atlanta. It could be a good fit. I've been saying that a lot.
So there's a bright future for the Bears. They just got to be smart with their decisions.
Does his head coach stay because he's a defensive head coach? I don't think he's going to last. I don't know. There's a lot of
offensive moves that you have to make.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. But let's go to the Brandon Staley era ending and letting up 63 points to the Las Vegas, formerly Oakland, formerly Los Angeles Raiders. The Raiders, man.
Wow.
63. They almost broke Miami's 70-point game. It was close.
What was it? What was it, like 50-something to 0 at one point?
They had 63 points, very early in the fourth quarter. They had what? It was like 48-0 at halftime. I forgot exactly what it was. 41. It was crazy. Complete annihilation. Easton Stick. I mean, I feel really bad for him.
This is a game they definitely deserve that cigar in the locker room. Everyone's getting a cigar for this one.
I was saying, okay, if they don't fire him after this, then they're probably never going to fire this guy. And he was fired.
And it's so funny in the press conference. They're like, what do you think you're doing after this? Do you think they're going to keep you? Like, do you think they're going to fire? He's like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen.
He probably deep down knew what was coming. I don't know. At that point,
the way he was talking, yeah, you knew he was done for.
This sums up his whole time there. He was a defensive head coach, and they left 63 points. With talent on the defense, they gave up. They gave up on this coach because they don't believe in this coach, and that's what happens. You have the difference in coaching here. Antonio Pierce, these players played. Look. The number one reason they got their butts kicked, they didn't have their star quarterback Justin Herbert. But other than that, it came down to coaching. One team was fired up for their coach. You saw Devontae Adams bopping his head on the sideline, and the other team hated their coach and didn't believe in him, and that's what you saw in this game. It was the difference in coaching.
I mean, this will sum it up all right here. In the last 3 years, I think they have the most points scored, and in the last 3 years, they have the most points scored against.
Yeah.
So it's just
Justin Herbert trying to carry them to victory every game.
It's just so disappointing. This team really let down Justin Herbert.
They did. So
and hopefully they can make some changes. And we were talking about it before. Who do you think is going to be coaching this team next year? And I don't know. I really like Bill Belichick.
You're going to say Belichick.
Yes.
Look,
yeah.
You can't go wrong with Belichick. Most successful head coach in NFL history. I think your number one option would probably have to be Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. Offensive guy, former quarterback. I think that's your number one option. Number two, yes, probably go after Bill Belichick. And then number three, I probably would just promote Kellen Moore. I mean, this offense is pretty good with him. He's a good play caller. He gets a little too cute sometimes. But if you want to stay cheap, I would go with an offensive guy. I want to go with an offensive guy that develop Justin Herbert and set more offensive minded schemes around him. And
I mean, they have a lot of talent. So I mean, before it goes to waste, because I don't know.
Do they have a lot of they have a lot of talent, but do they anymore? Because what is Austin Eckler? I think we're watching the decline of him as we speak.
Yeah, I think he had 6 rushes for 9 yards or something like that.
It's getting pathetic at this point. He wanted a big contract in the offseason. Remember, we had a bunch of episodes about the whole Zoom meeting with the running backs that he was leading.
He didn't deserve it.
No. Well, now it's looking like it was a smart move by the Chargers, but Keenan Allen, love him, but he's always hurt. Mike Williams, always hurt. I don't even know if he's going to be on this team next year. Everett's okay, I guess, but where's your Quentin Johnson's been a big disappointment. Right. Palmer's all right. Quentin Johnson's been a big disappointment. So where's your weapons? They're gonna have to reload here. They're probably gonna have to reload. Maybe get another receiver. Maybe Quentin Johnson comes on. He was a first round draft pick. So,
I mean, he's dropped a lot of balls.
He has. He has.
Put him on the Chiefs, man. You'll fit right in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We'll get into that one soon too with the Tony play. But first, we will get into 49ers at Cardinals. Brock Purdy. Another 4 touchdown passes. McCaffrey, who's MVP? You probably pick between these two at this point.
Literally.
I mean, Brock Purdy's leading in every category that's important to a quarterback. So, at this point, it's a quarterback award. We all know it. I would have no problem giving it to McCaffrey. I would have liked Tyreek Hill, too, before he got injured. He's probably not going to get to 2,000 yards now. But I got Brock Purdy. Who do you got?
Offensive player, I think I'll give it to Christian McCaffrey, though. But MVP, Brock Purdy. How can you not?
Well, McCaffrey will probably win Offensive Player of the Year. Either McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill,
yes,
probably.
Definitely. But at the same time, Christian McCaffrey, he's just been phenomenal. 24 touchdowns already? He has more touchdowns than a lot of bad teams right now. And this is a team that, is loaded with talent, Ayuk, Kittle, Debo, and he's still making so much noise.
He's the best player.
He is the best player, but there's so much more talent to go around, and he's still getting all the targets.
That's a great point. You have so much mouths to feed, and he's still getting elite over-the-top numbers. So.
It's pretty crazy.
It's unbelievable what we're watching. Where does he rank with the best running backs in NFL history? Because I thought coming out of the draft that he wasn't going to be able to run in between the tackles, and he can do that and more. He's a great receiver. They can line him out wide. He can run right in between the tackles, right up the center. He can run.
I will say he is the best modern running back.
He's the best running back in the league right now by far.
I mean, he's right up there with Barry Sanders is just absolute beast. So he's right there with.
Well, we can't put that. We can't put as far as most talented running back. Yes, like talent, straight talent. Yes, but I don't know if we can put him in that elite category yet. Like if he could put a couple more years like this, he'll be in that all time conversation. He's probably going to be creeping up on top 10 all time eventually if he could put numbers.
He's definitely getting a Hall of Fame at this
point. Yeah,
he's up there.
The thing is, on the Panthers, he had a lot of years in the Panthers where he was a complete animal, and then he was getting hurt like 2-3 years in a row. And then he was decent again, and then he got traded to the Niners. We thought it was kind of a bad trade because the Panthers got, a lot of second, fourth round picks. It turned out to be a great trade. McCaffrey has been the best player in the league.
Absolutely.
He's the best player in the league right now. So, Niners, you're looking for a Super Bowl. Other than that, like, they blew out the Cardinals.
No, Super Bowl bust here. Yeah.
It is, especially since they lost in the NFC Championship game last year.
And all these other teams aren't, the two last Super Bowl contenders are kind of bust,
Yeah, the Chiefs and the Eagles, they're done. Yeah,
Eagles are done.
The Cowboys, you already kicked the rear end. You kicked the Eagles' rear end. Yeah. You probably will kick the Lions' rear end. Who's going to stop you at this point? So
I can't see the Chiefs putting up a good game against the 49ers.
The only thing that's stopping the Lions is injuries. But let's move on. Talk about drops with like you said before, Dylan. Chiefs, Patriots. The Chiefs. The Patriots made it interesting, but the Chiefs were controlling this game the whole time. That Kadarius Toney drop, that was an interception. That was terrible. You saw Mahomes was freaking out on the sideline about that. But you saw Toney was kind of beating himself up. I kind of felt bad for the guy a little bit there.
I don't know. The Chiefs didn't really win this.
Again, not a blowout.
This should have been a blowout. This should have been like a bounce back week where you're like, okay, we got to get things going.
It was 27 points, but not an impressive 27.
No,
if that makes sense.
At all.
So I know the Patriots defense is underrated at times. So you got Belichick coaching back there, but obviously we're worried about the Chiefs, but it's not really worried. We're not surprised anymore because we know that they're limited at wide receiver, and they're gonna have to rely on Kadarius Toney because what else do they have?
Not much at all.
He's the most talented wide receiver that they have. No, Rashee Rice is the most.
Rice,
but he's the most gifted. Once
he gets the ball in his hand,
one of the most electric players in the league with the ball in his hand.
Keyword in his hand.
But let's go a little quicker now. Steelers got their rear ends kicked by the Colts, and we know Mitch Trubisky is not good. Okay, we know this. He's not good. When you're chanting for Mason Rudolph to come in, you're done. So
for sure,
the Colts killed them.
Listen, when you should have, with all these quarterbacks that are backups now, you see they're kind of coming out as being great players. You should have somebody that you could kind of trust run the game. Mitchell Trubisky is not one of those people.
No, not. And you know what's huge about this? The Colts are going to have the tiebreaker over them now. They're both fighting for wild card spots.
I think the Steelers are completely done now.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
No,
I think I would trust the Colts making the playoffs over the Steelers.
Yeah, for sure. And they have the talent. Their quarterback. I don't know when Kenny
Pickett's
quarterbacks.
Even with Kenny Pickett, although I thought he was terrible, at least they were winning more and scoring a little more than this. This is Miss Trubisky. It's just like not giving you anything, man.
No, he's not.
So the Shane Steichen, man, the job he's done with these Colts. They're still in the playoff mix. We talked about this earlier. They're a 3-way tie with the AFC South. Going to be interesting.
Fighting with injuries, going back to back with running backs. Having JT in and out, and they're still making it work.
So Michael Pittman, let's hope he plays this week, but. Interesting thing to watch, the Colts. Can they make the playoffs? Can Shane Steichen win Coach of the Year? All things to keep an eye on. But the Bucs, man, Baker Mayfield, the 4 touchdown passes, perfect passer rating of 158.3. Baker Mayfield is leading the NFC South and has now gotten the Bucs back to 500 at 7-7. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs might make the playoffs. Well, whoever wins the NFC South is going to play either Dallas or Philadelphia for the 5 seed in the wild card round. So they're probably going to get their rear end kicked. They already lost to the Eagles. I don't know if they played the Cowboys. So they lost to the Eagles. I remember that fondly. Rashad White's a big factor in that. They get a running game going. They can win. Mike Evans comes on. The play action for Baker.
Mike Evans is a phenomenal running back, wide receiver.
Yeah, quarterback, running back. He could probably do it all. He's that talented. Yeah. But at his age, the fact that he's still putting up numbers like he is just outstanding, man. But Baker Mayfield, when he gets that play action, it could be really effective. So, Rashad White's a big factor in all this. The defense is pretty impressive. Todd Bowles is a good defensive coach. So, I think the Bucs
team is sneaky scary.
I think the Packers have a lot of talent on offense. They have 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5 really good young receivers.
They just got to get it together.
And stay healthy. They need to get healthy, too. So
Chris Watson is in and out all the time.
Yeah, he is. And some of the line, Bakhtiari, apparently doesn't play here and there. It's just... it's kind of been a little messy. The defense had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
I hear some rumblings about the defensive coordinator fans while I'm gone. So,
Really?
But I think this is a positive year for Green Bay. You know, the Jets and Rodgers have been a disaster, and you guys have been fine with Jordan Love, and he gels with this team. So,
Yeah.
I don't take much from this loss. I just think they're a year away from making some noise. They're probably going to just miss the playoffs, but they had a nice little comeback here. So let's move on to my New York Jets game. They're brought to kicks by the Dolphins. Aaron Rodgers is definitely not coming back now. He basically hinted to that in the McAfee show today. I knew that. I thought it was crazy.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. He's coming out now and saying it like that. Like,
well, he's kind of alluded to if he wasn't. Like, if they did win and they were still mathematically in it, he would have, like, considered it.
What, risk your health? Like,
that's what I said.
Such a dumb thing to do.
With this offensive line, and you want to come back fresh next season, like, it's a wash now anyway. You know, it wasn't even Zach Wilson's fault this game. He was getting clobbered the entire game.
No, I know.
The line is awful.
I know, but to not put up a point.
I know.
The Dolphins,
awful.
And I know they're getting things together on defense.
He left with a concussion. Apparently, he was trying to suck it up throughout the game and hide his symptoms. And then, you know, it was very weird. I thought he was like. I
don't know, man. There's something else going on because now they're
dehydration. I heard at one point.
Now they're saying that that Zach Wilson and Rob Saleh had a conversation where they basically made this discussion like, yeah, we're trading.
I thought I saw that too, but I thought that was before, like, a few weeks ago. I think that's been like talks for a few weeks, maybe. I saw an article about that a few weeks ago.
So he's kind of playing for
a spot on the team.
A spot somewhere else.
Who's going to trade for this guy? Would you trade for him, your GM?
No, I wouldn't even want him as a backup, man.
Me either, because when you want a backup to be more accurate, more
there's
consistent.
There's good backups out there,
and
too.
Zach Wilson's not one of them. We've learned that now.
You got to realize there's a lot more quarterbacks coming in, so that means there's a lot more quarterbacks that are going to be sitting out.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be backups.
Yeah, very true. Good point. Zach Wilson's not going to be one of them.
No, he's not.
He's going to be sitting out. You might make a roster as a third-string project, but...
Yeah, but that's it.
That's it. Practice squad, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe someone wants to salvage him. Atlanta's pretty stupid, so we'll see. Maybe they don't get Justin Fields. And whatever. Moving on. Let's go to Commanders-Rams. And Howell got benched. Brissett came in. Brissett looked more effective. I mean, they kind of came back here, made it interesting. But the Rams, again, another nice win for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Cooper Kupp really finally coming on. He was wide open on that touchdown. He's really coming on. And the Rams are going to the playoffs, I think. They have they beat Seattle twice after tiebreak. I think the Rams are going to the playoffs.
Absolutely. The Rams are just a good team and a better team than the Commanders. Commanders, kudos to them. They stuck around this. They came back in this game. But the Rams, they're kind of another one of those sneaky good teams that they've been to the playoffs. They've been to the Super Bowl recently. So they know what to do. They're going to get it done. And
they could make noise.
Yes, they can make noise. And, that's just like one underdog you might have to watch out for.
Well, that's interesting because I've been saying as long as you have Stafford, McVay, Aaron Donald, you're going to be good. And this offense is a little underrated. Kyron Williams has been a very good running back this season.
Puka Nacua.
Exactly.
Coming out of nowhere.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Kyron Williams is one of the more underrated backs. He's probably a top 5-10 back this season.
Yes, for sure.
And on defense, you got Aaron Donald, a bunch of young guys. So maybe you're limited there. I think they're...
Well, once you have Aaron Donald, he runs the offense. He tells people what to do. And he's been there for a while, so he's very familiar with how the defensive scheme runs over there.
Right. So I do think they could make noise more than maybe a Seattle, who probably has a better roster. But I do think like the Rams are going to the playoffs. Can they make noise? I don't know. It depends who they play. They're probably going to be a 6 or 7 seed. So that means that they will probably play either a Detroit or a Philadelphia, maybe. Mm-hmm. So that'd be tough for them to win. But look, Philadelphia just lost to the Seahawks, so who the Rams beat twice. So it's not relative like that. But
listen, I don't know the matchup. I really think the Rams would win that.
I don't blame you for saying that. I will take the Eagles in that, but I'm not too. The Eagles are. Long story short, I'm not that confident in the Eagles anymore. So
yeah. Me neither.
But let's move on, bro. Your guy, Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets. The Saints are kind of mocking him there, sacking him a lot and doing this all the time.
It was a nice story.
Did he get banged up in this game a little bit? Yeah.
But he came back, but then he had an ankle injury that he was fighting off. So there's a lot going on there. But listen, it was a nice story for a week or two, but I know nothing's happening of this team.
I still think he's backup worthy in this league, but obviously he was never going to be a starter. It was right to raise the question because he had a couple games over 100 passer rating. He wasn't making plays, like knowing how to move out of the pocket with his feet and step up and run. He did look like he was developing, but took a big step back there. But let's see, you're playing the Eagles, so let's see if he puts together a game. And you never know. They just lost to the Seahawks. They're probably going to be pissed, though, and want to bounce back.
Listen, I think we're going to get our rear ends kicked in.
We'll see.
I was saying before, like when I was going over the schedule, like, oh, we could win this game, lose this game. Seattle. The Eagles are going to be playing to that last game. They're going to be playing for the first.
Yeah, so they're not going to be benching their players.
No,
that was
not.
a big talk between us. Like, will they bench their stars again, like last season? Not going to happen.
They're going to want to beat us both times.
And the division might be at stake too. Still.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
because Dallas is right there.
Yeah.
So. Other than that, I mean, Tommy DeVito, really nice story. Yeah. He's a backup. He's a backup. Yeah. But he could still probably be your backup next season, depending on what happens. But moving on.
I wouldn't mind for him coming in a game or two.
No, I wouldn't either.
He can win a game or two.
He can, and he's proven that this season. Yeah. So, Falcons, Panthers, leave it to the Falcons to lose to the Panthers.
Oh, my God.
Leave it to the Atlanta Falcons to lose to the Panthers.
Pathetic.
Texans, Titans, last but not least. The Texans, somehow, Case Keenum pulled it off. Divisional matchup. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to take too much by it. I had the Texans winning until I saw that CJ Stroud was rolled out, and I changed the last second to the Titans. Kind of regret doing that now.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Who'd you pick on that one?
No, I full out took the Texans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
No reason why. I just thought the Texans were.
You don't waver. Team. That happens a lot where a player will be out and you won't waver.
It really depends. Yeah. I don't know. It just really depends.
Well, this is a weird situation.
The quarterback carries.
Yeah. Well, Case Keenum had some good years that Viking season where he made the playoffs with them, so he's not a bad quarterback. Mm-hmm. But anyway, moving on. I went 10-6 this week. You went 11-5. You were 135-89. I'm 133-91, so I'm 2 games behind you. I had that really bad 4-11 week a couple weeks ago. So I mean, right in there. We're coming down to the wire.
Still doing good.
Week 16 coming up. Let's get into those games. Let's start with Thursday night. Saints at Rams. Who do you got, Dylan?
Saints at Rams. I'm going Rams. The Saints got a good win. I'm sure they're feeling really good. But I don't know. The Rams must be feeling a lot better because they see the playoffs. It's right in their hands. And they just got to – I'm pretty sure they have to win out. They probably have to win out. And this Saints game is going to give them a lot of momentum. They have a pretty good defense. And, they're going to have – they win this game, I see – I have a lot of confidence for them in the playoffs.
And I think there's differences between good rosters and good teams. Like, I think the Saints have a better roster, but the Rams are a better team. Because you have a better coach, better quarterback, better, star player. So I'll take the Rams.
Speaking of the Saints, I feel like they just need a different coach in there.
Yeah, I don't trust their coach at all.
Yeah, the offensive coach just doesn't put things together.
The coordinator and the head coach, both of them. I don't trust either of them. They're both kind of Sean Payton guys, but Sean Payton isn't there anymore, and it's not the same. So I'll take Rams there, too. So let's move on. Bengals, Steelers. Tough one. Kind of tough. Not really. I don't know when Pickett's coming back, but I don't think it's this game. But even if regardless, I would go Jake Browning and the Bengals. I'm going to ride with that.
You take out the quarterbacks in these scenarios, and I'm going the Bengals all the way. They just have a better roster. Because that's kind of the situation you have. You're taking out both quarterbacks.
Slightly better. I'll give the Steelers the edge on defense, but offensive, I'll give the Bengals slight. It's very close, though. I will say that.
But the margin's bigger with the Bengals.
I'll agree with that because the Bengals, they're more consistent on offense. The Steelers' offense is terrible. Even the quarterback, no quarterback. They have good receivers and good tight end. The running backs are up and down.
They just can't make anything of it.
Exactly. So we'll take Bengals there. Bills, Chargers. You don't go the Bills lose this, are terrible, but the Bills are not like the Chargers.
Well, listen, you saw what happened with the Raiders. They got a new coach in there, and they just started lighting stuff up.
That's true.
Chargers have a good roster,
Easton Stick goes from terrible performance to 40-point performance.
It might be that cancerous thing.
So you going Chargers?
No.
Okay. Okay.
No, I'm just saying watch out.
Just making sure. Just making sure.
I'm going Bills all the way, but...
Commanders at Jets. I don't even know if Zach Wilson's going to be clear from the concussion protocol, but regardless, I'm just going to go Commanders here.
Oh. Good, because I'm all Commanders too.
Okay, so we'll move. We won't
Nothing really to get into there.
We won't get into anything there. Lions at Vikings. This is kind of tough because it's divisional, but I'll go Lions. They're the better team. Better quarterback. Better quarterback, better coach.
Vikings played very well against the Bengals. I think they're going to play well against the Lions as well. It's probably going to... I don't know. At the same time, Lions blow out teams. I don't know. Vikings will probably keep it close.
I think it's going to be close, but I think
it's going to be close too.
Go Lions.
I'm going Lions all the way.
Browns at Texans. This is actually really tough. I'm going to ride Joe Flacco on the Browns, though, because the Texans have been faltering. So, Stroud was hurt, and then they lost to the Jets. So, I'll go with momentum. I'll go Flacco.
Stroud or not, I'm going Browns as well.
Wow, Browns. Yeah. You've been very high in the Browns this season. You've been picking them a lot this year.
Yes, and it's been paying off.
Yeah. It has. They're 9-5.
They have a great defense.
Yep.
Quarterback or not, they have some key players on offense. And it's kind of like a plug-play kind of situation.
It is. That's what happened here with Flacco. They plugged him in, and they're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like a story.
It's a fun
It's a great
story.
story,
Flacco
you know?
off the couch, very old and looked terrible on the Jets the last couple of seasons. Couldn't move, and it shows when you get him some protection, he could sling it still. So
Yeah,
Browns,
no bad blood there in the division
No.
either. They don't care. Ravens or not, you're on our team.
Well, because
now.
the Ravens are fine with Lamar, so they don't really care. So
Yeah.
moving on, Packers at anything else?
Have they played each other yet? That's kind of interesting.
The Ravens and Browns have played each other
with Joe Flacco in though.
No.
So I want to see that. That's going to be.
I don't know if they played those 2 times already. I know they played once. I think the Ravens won. Yeah, I think the Ravens.
No,
won.
the Browns won that one.
Oh no, they did play twice. The Ravens won and the Browns won. I think it's split. I think they split. I could be wrong, but I think
they
split.
might play each other in the playoffs.
They could.
That would be interesting.
They actually might. Well,
that might be like a revenge story for the
Browns would have, as it is right now. The Browns would have. I think the Ravens had the 1 seed, so the Browns would have to win their wild card because the Browns would have a bye. I mean, the Ravens would have a bye. But the Ravens,
that's right. The Ravens would have.
The Ravens might not finish with the 1 seed though.
I don't know what's the other team that
Miami.
That's true.
But they have Buffalo coming up, so it's probably going to be Kansas City, and it's probably going to be the Ravens by process of elimination.
Yeah.
But let's move on. Packers at Panthers. I'll go Packers here. I think they got to bounce back. They've had a couple tough losses, so I'll go Packers.
Well, Packers too. I don't know, but the Panthers, they're coming off a hot win. Maybe they keep it going.
I think
Packers haven't looked that good.
I think they came off a nice emotional win, and then they're going to come back down.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
Seahawks at Titans. I'll go Seattle. They had a nice win. I just think Seattle has the better roster here, so they should dominate.
I mean, yeah, Seattle has a lot more to play for now. Titans are out of the contention, so yeah.
Seattle's gonna be desperate.
Yes, they are. You know how desperate teams play. Look at the Bills.
Yeah, exactly. They've been playing very good lately.
Yeah.
So, Colts Falcons. I'll go Colts.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons have been just looking downright pathetic.
So we're actually.
I think we're going.
Exactly the same so far.
Yeah.
So I think this one we're different. Jaguars, Bucks. What do you got?
I got Jaguars.
I'll go Bucks here.
Oh, okay. So I think
the Jaguars just haven't impressed me.
They haven't impressed you, but they just have a lot of key players on offense, and they have a decent defense. I feel like they'll be able to shut down Baker.
See, I think the opposite. Yes, Jaguars defense is decent, but so is the Bucks. I think the Bucks defense is underrated, and they're going to shut down Trevor Lawrence. They actually are a very good run defense, so I think they're going to shut down ETN, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence to throw. And Trevor Lawrence hasn't been playing necessarily great this season, so I'll take the Bucks in this one. And the Bucks are home, so give me Bucks. Cowboys at Dolphins.
This is probably the second game of the week.
These are 2 similar teams in a way because the Dolphins, will play up. The Dolphins will beat teams inferior to them, but then they'll lose to bigger teams. Cowboys do this too. But I think the Cowboys are more legitimate than Miami as far as a team, a roster, these players. I think Cowboys are better. Give me Dallas.
So Cowboys are at Dolphins.
Yep.
So Cowboys are away.
Good point.
I think that's going to play a key factor here. I don't know if Dolphins get things going right away. I mean, they're coming off a 30-0 win against the Jets. Moster has just been a phenomenal player. A weird stat I saw? Moster has more touchdowns this season than he has his whole career combined.
Really?
He has 20 this year, and then he has 19 his whole career.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy,
What a year
right?
for Moster, yeah.
Yeah.
Quietly, too, the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and then you also have Achane. Is he back?
Yeah, he's been back. He's been a little quiet, but he's been solid.
So you have that run game going for you.
So the big key here is I think Tyreek Hill's still a little banged up. So I think they're going to try and run the ball in Miami. And Dallas knows that. So Dallas is going to try to stop the run. They're going to pressure Tua, in my opinion. And Tua's going to struggle. When he gets pressured, when his first, second read isn't there, he struggles. He showed that against the Titans.
Yeah.
So that against the Eagles, so that against the Chiefs. That's why I think Dallas is going to stick to that game plan, and they're going to get a lead and hold them. Basically, I think Dallas is going to control this game. Not a blowout, but they'll control it, in my opinion.
Can Tyreek Hill ever be hurt? It feels like every time he's hurt, he just comes running back out. No, I got this.
Well, his ankle's been bothering him all season. He's been doing that thing.
Oh, is that what it is?
A couple of weeks at least, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
ankle injuries usually are kind of recurrent, so he's going to play. But is he going to be effective? Well, he missed this week, so maybe it's still in the air.
Well, listen, if he's not effective, then Waddle's going to be filling that role pretty
He
nicely.
did last week, so I do give you that. I'll give you that. But in the Titans game, he's to a struggle. So it could go either way here.
Yeah, I don't know. There was
This
a
is gonna be
stereotype
tough.
going around when Tyreek Hill doesn't play that they don't play well.
But then
I don't buy it.
The Jets have a good defense, and I guess he shielded against the Jets, and they have a great pass rush, great corners. They kind of got torched a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you don't score any points, what's going to happen?
I was kind of surprised they did that against the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually they're going to collapse eventually, yeah.
When you don't score any points, it is what it is. Yeah. But we'll be split on that one. The last two we've been split. Okay.
Let's go.
Cardinals, Bears. I'll go Cardinals here. I'll go Kyler. I'll go Cardinals. I just think that Kyler's going to be the difference in this game. You know, Kyler's the better quarterback. They're kind of they're somewhat evenly stacked. Like, I guess the Bears have more talent, but it's not that far off. And I think Kyler Murray's a big difference maker on this Cardinal team. So give me Kyler. Give me the Cardinals.
Well, listen, the Bears played a very impressive game against the Bears. Against the Browns, you know, especially against a defense like they have.
They did, but they lost.
Yeah, they did lose by one catch that Moody missed.
Yeah, that's true.
So listen, that was a very close game. I think they're gonna whoop the Cardinals. I think it's gonna be a blowout.
Okay. Well, the Cardinals got blown out pretty much last week by the Niners, so I don't think it's crazy to say that. But the Bears don't really blow out any. They did blow out one team. I forgot who it was. Was it the Raiders?
The Cowboys?
The Bears? Oh, the Cardinals. They kind of controlled the Cowboys. The Cardinals. You're right. I'm saying the Bears.
Oh, the Bears.
The Bears blew out the Raiders, I think, with Garoppolo earlier in the season. Was it the Raiders? Anyway, was it the chart? There was a team that they blew out, but they're not. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I've looked stupid in a lot of these games. The Sunday night game, for some reason, the Patriots Broncos. I'm a little confused about that. Give me Broncos there. Not much to get into there.
Yeah, give me Broncos too.
Patriots might make it interesting, but
especially in prime time. You know?
So they're just done with Mac Jones, aren't they? They're just not going to let him back in.
Sappy Bailey's all the way.
Sappy Bailey.
I mean, he doesn't really care. He's not going to be there next year. It's like he's just riding it out.
Yeah, that's weird. Just not going back to him at all. Whatever. It is what it is. Let's go Broncos there. Okay, Christmas Day. We got the 1 o'clock game, 4:30 game, and 8:15 game. The 1 o'clock game, we have Raiders at Chiefs. So Chiefs are home. Arrowhead.
They're leading their division, right?
Yeah. I think by 2. I think
the Broncos are right behind.
Broncos are 7-7, but then I think the Chiefs are 9-5. Yeah, so the 2-game lead. So
Chiefs
are gonna win.
There's nothing to play around here. You know, you can't play with your food. You gotta win out.
You gotta eat it. Yeah. So
you gotta be looking good in the playoffs.
I think the Chiefs get a nice convincing win here. I think maybe Kadarius Toney has a nice bounce back here. Maybe he gets a touchdown here. Maybe they try to give him a touchdown to make him feel better.
Yeah.
Give him a little end around. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Let's go to 4:30. Giants at Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Look, if he could beat the Eagles, I said, maybe you start thinking about this guy. Is he as good as Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones, I think, is better, but maybe the gap isn't as big. Maybe you start asking him after he wins this game. I don't think they do. Give me Eagles.
Listen, I want the Giants to win, but, like, I kind of want a better pick at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, same here as a Jet fan.
But, like, I don't know.
I don't think the Giants are mathematically eliminated yet, technically.
They aren't mathematically.
Yeah, because I think...
I'm not getting into it. No, I know they're not.
They're done, yeah.
Like, last week, if we would have won, I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go Giants. But no, I'm over it. Give me the Eagles here, but, you know... It'd be a real good Christmas present if the Giants brought home a dub here.
Yeah, that'd be nice for you, for sure.
Yeah, I love ruining the Eagles.
Yeah, that would be nothing better than a Giants win than spoiling the Eagles or the Cowboys. Maybe spoiling the Cowboys might be slightly better.
No, that's definitely on top.
So 8:15 Monday Night Football. I don't know if it's going to be on Monday Night Football, but we'll see about that. Ravens at Niners, Super Bowl rematch. This is going to be crazy.
Best game of the week, for sure.
Best game of the week, might be best game of the year.
Yeah. I'm going 49ers here. They just have such a juggernaut offense. They're getting their defense together. There's just no Achilles heel in this offense or defense. I feel like they got it all put together.
So I think the Niners are the best team in the NFL. But I think the Ravens win here. Why? I think the Ravens defense is underrated. Well, I think people know this Ravens defense is really good, but it's actually great. It's a top 3 defense. But I think Lamar Jackson is a difference maker. I know it always doesn't come up in the stat sheet, but he manipulates every single game. He controls the offense every single game so efficiently. And I think this is going to be a close game, and Lamar's going to be that difference. So give me Baltimore, give me Lamar. So
that's a fair take. I completely agree with you on that. This is a go either way game.
It really is. It's going to be close.
They have to get everything going here. They can't let up anything because
they got to bring everything.
You let up a little bit, then the 49ers are going to come in and sweep you.
I'll give you that. They're going to have to give it their all because if they slip even a little bit, the Niners are going to knock them out. The Niners have that quality to blow a team out. So I don't see the Ravens getting blown out, though.
Yes.
So
So
gonna be tough,
49ers
man.
got to be on their heels, ready to go.
I can't wait for this game.
This is going to
Cannot
be a
wait.
good one.
So let's do our Thursday Night Football parlay for this week. So we didn't have one last week. We had some technical difficulties. I ended up doing a solo episode. So we'll get to one this week. We'll do Saints at Rams. I got Rams minus 4.5. Alvin Kamara over 29.5 receiving yards. Matthew Stafford under 1.5 passing touchdowns. And Puka Nacua over 5.5 receptions.
I have Cooper Kupp over 5.5 receptions. Matthew Stafford over a touchdown and a half. Alvin Kamara over 29.5 receiving yards, and Rams minus 3.5.
Have a Merry Christmas, Dylan. Have a Merry Christmas, guy. Keep liking, subscribing, and sharing. I see that you guys are giving a lot of support out there. Thank you. We're going to keep putting out content, keep pushing it through. Like, subscribe, share. Like I said again, thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it. See you next week.